Hi guys, it's Daniel. Hope you're okay. So, a couple of videos ago, I said I was going to speak briefly about my celibacy journey, as I'm now approaching, I'm on 20 months of no sex, and that roughly equates to June 2018. Um, but before we get into it, I thought I'd give you a little bit of a backstory as to why this is so important for me because when I was 17 years old, I left high school, and during my high school years, I never had the traditional relationship like most of my friends did. Typically, because as a gay man, or for me, in my situation as a gay man, there weren't really many opportunities to have an open relationship or even a private one. But that said, when I left school, I made up for lost time. I definitely, sowed my oats when it came to seeing lots of different people. And for the first 3 years, I had a really, really good time. But then what I realized slowly after that was that the people I was having sex with were just representations of a void that was missing within me because ultimately I was trying to find and fill that relationship gap that I'd missed out during my teenage years. Um, and ultimately, I just ended up sleeping with a lot of people. Um, by that, I mean maybe like, you know, gosh, I slept with maybe like one person every other month. So call that maybe six different people a year, which doesn't really sound like a lot, but when you're very young and you're still getting to know yourself and your body, um, that can be quite a lot of number of people to really be acquainted with, especially when you think about the ramifications that come with that. But anyway, that said, I, at the age of 22, first recognized what it meant to really slow that cycle down. And instead of actually having lots of carnal sex, I had a 6 month break. And during that time, I really shifted my focus and made sure that I looked away from external gratification to try and find that inner sense of peace, which is what I was searching for. Um, and for that time, it was really good. That was my first taste of abstinence. And after that, I mean, I'd say the numbers of people that I would interact with were greatly reduced. I was quite fortunate. I was able to count on one hand the amount of people I'd see over a few years at that time. But I think the reason why that's important is because in today's society, we have lots of information at our fingertips. Um, there are many dating apps that make life so easy when it comes to trying to hook up with somebody. And it's not a bad thing. I think it's really good that we can explore our sexuality and that we can actually really have, a little bit of fun along the way because life isn't meant to be this serious thing. But when you get older and you realize that you've maybe not invested as much as you could do in a stable relationship, um, you just maybe start to feel like you've missed out on something. But one of the greatest things about this particular journey and this particular bout of celibacy is, well, again, going back to the last time I had sex. So I was traveling abroad, I was in the Caribbean, I was staying with my family, and I was taking a trip to Kingston because I was in Jamaica. A bit controversial, but anyway. Um, and whilst I was there, I was speaking to this guy on Grinder. He was visiting from Spain, and we decided to hook up, and we did. And it was a really, I'd say, mediocre experience. Not for the fact that he wasn't a really attractive person or the fact that he wasn't even, well endowed, if you want to go there. He had all of that going on, but one of the biggest takeaways was that we just didn't have a connection with each other. And it really highlighted to me the importance of that rapport that you need to have with someone before you actually get into the bed with them. And for me, I'm all about life lessons and repeating cycles until I learn a lesson. And the biggest takeaway I had from this was it doesn't really matter how far you travel in the world, where you go, if you are ultimately running away from something within yourself, you'll always meet yourself at the other side of that particular situation. And that needed to happen for me. I needed that epiphany to recognize that this particular scenario was almost like the catalyst to say that there's something more important out there that I wasn't maybe considering, or maybe hadn't considered for a long time. And the other surrounding issues about that was that I was also getting over a situationship. I've had a breakup with someone the year before, and again, like I say, it was a situationship. I'll save that for a different video. But the point is, at that point, I kind of came back, and I did have sex with somebody else when I came back in July. But this wasn't full on intercourse. It was more oral sex with me performing oral sex on that person, which was fine. But again, it just left me feeling a little bit empty, and I feel that my decision to stop doing a lot of things, including at that time I was practicing NoFap, was a result of me just really shifting into a different mentality. So, fast forward to today, and I've had a couple of encounters with people. I haven't been completely innocent. You know, I've maybe seen two other people since that last occurrence. The two, three, three people I've been with, it's all been very, I would say, quite light, heavy petting, uh, oral sex, hand jobs, but not involving me ejaculating because I think at that time I'd really made a decision that I wanted to really focus on rebuilding my energy via semen retention, which is one of the things I keep talking about so much. But yeah, now I'm at the point where I've just accidentally fallen into this place where I've not had sex or penetrative sex for approaching 21 months, which for me is quite astounding. But the good thing about this is that it's given me a lot of time to focus on myself, focus on what I want, focus on my goals. And I'm very open about this with my friends. I talk to them about this, and it's really interesting how in society we kind of look down on people for doing things that go against the grain or go against the norm. But I feel that this is such an important thing for me personally because I'm 35 years old, and one of the favourite sayings I have is that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting different results. So, in order to attract high profile, high quality partners, I think we owe it to ourselves, and I think it's necessary that we really, really focus and shift that energy internally so that we're able to build up ourselves, we're able to become the best versions of ourselves. Because if you are just readily available for the world and sundry, um, you just diminish your value, you diminish your self worth. And I'm not saying you have to be an angel. I'm not an angel. You know, I'm very, very hypersexual. I've just shifted that focus into more of a virtual setting, which again I'll talk about in another video. But yeah, I just think we owe it to ourselves just to maybe try to actually do something different, try to put ourselves at the forefront, and ultimately then we might potentially attract the person who we're meant to attract. And you know, I don't know. I'm just feeling quite sorry. I've gone off on a bit of a tangent here, but essentially, it's really important to recognize your self worth because without that, then what is the point of even doing anything? Sorry, that didn't end as strong as I expected, but hopefully it resonates with somebody. This is a very long video, so I'm going to post this now. And if you have got any thoughts and feedback or any questions about the process, I'd love to hear from you. Until then, take care. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.